Get ready for some great music and great stories. Band in Seattle starts right now. Welcome to Band in Seattle. I'm Xander Denke, and with me is Sean DeTore, associate producer and host of the mixtape on MyNorthwest.com and Cairo Radio, to talk about tonight's band, Blake Noble.
Blake Noble, 100% Aussie, brings the spirit of the Outback, mate. His expertise with the didgeridoo and his 12-string, played both as guitar and percussion, is a really unique experience. Sharing the great heritage he carefully brings to the stage, he's supported by two great musicians, Matt Rieger on dobro, banjo and slide, and Joel Hoyer on bass.
Stick around, we'll be right back with Blake Noble.
I decided to become a musician. It was chosen for me at first because I grew up playing music, and I've been a full-time musician for about the last 5 years, starting in Australia and New Zealand and eventually bringing that over here to the US. You know, it came about because I had a big breakup in my life and I was working a normal job in customer service, of all things, answering phones, if you can picture me doing that. When that happened, I just totally changed my entire life. I moved out of my apartment and I sold all of my stuff. I sold my car. I moved into a tent on a campground in my hometown, surrounded by backpackers from around the world. They were all visiting on holiday and I was living there in my hometown. I just wanted to give up everything so that I could do what I always wanted to do and never had the guts to go for it. The Aborigines have a saying, if the earth had a voice, it would be the sound of the didgeridoo. Back in Byron Bay, people know Uncle Lewis. He's constantly walking around helping people, talking about the Aboriginal way.
So who we are is custodians of this country. We are the originals. Well, the teaching of the old ways, it'll put you on your right track.
He was busking and I came up with whatever was in my pocket at the time. I said, this is yours if you can teach me how to do whatever that is. He taught me how to play the didgeridoo right there on the street, and he taught me how to circular breathe. It's a strange thing to think of how you can possibly breathe out through your mouth and in through your nose at the same time. But then, of course, the trick is being able to do that while playing other instruments at the same time. This is certainly the oldest wind instrument in the world and possibly the oldest instrument in the world, up to 40,000 years old. You sit on the ground so that you're connected with the land, and the end of the didgeridoo also sits on the ground. Like this, I'd be sitting on the ground. So I'm connected with the earth and so is the instrument, and I'm also connected to the instrument right here. The idea is to mimic what you hear out in nature. So we'll start with snake, dingo, kangaroo. This is the koala, though. That's it. I just want to create that sound that starts here or starts here. I want to get it out there. I feel like most people feel something when they hear didgeridoo. It's not necessarily me, it's usually the instrument. I deliberately went out and tried to seek permission to perform didgeridoo and to teach didgeridoo. I wanted to, because it's such an ancient and spiritual instrument, I wanted to be true to the instrument, but also the culture behind it. Not many people know about the Aboriginal culture, which is a shame because it's the oldest continuous culture in the world. The least that I can do is to spread the message of the Aboriginal people and to bring more awareness through this instrument, bring more awareness to the struggles of the Aboriginal people in Australia. So these are the two didgeridoos that I use the most on stage. This one is the wooden version, and this is the one I use the most because it's nice and lightweight. It can go on this didgeridoo stand, and it's made from PVC, and that's cool because then I can change the pitch. Like one of those slide whistles. You can make this at home by yourself, just with one piece of pipe and just a little mouthpiece made from an electrical fitting or a plumbing fitting with beeswax or candle wax on the top, and you've got an instrument. And this is a tree branch that's been hollowed out by termites, and you can see and you can feel the tracks on the inside that the termites have left. I met Joel and Matt, who play with me through the local music scene. I've changed a few times the musicians that I use. Every time I use someone else or someone new, they change my music. They can add their Pacific Northwest musical influence on top of my Australian roots.
Well, what can I say about Joel that hasn't been said all over the internet? Let's see. I am Joel Hoyer. Yeah, if you guys want to sponsor me or something, or give me money or something.
One time, Joel actually gave me the shirt off his back and said, "Oh, it's a nice shirt." He proceeded to take it off and give it to me. I washed it first, but then I'm still wearing it. That's the kind of guy he is.
When I first joined the band, it was normal, you know, like a big dude and a small dude playing some music together. Then when Matt joined the band, it was like two giant bodyguards for Blake Noble, and it was just like, yeah, we're the tough guys here, you know.
If I dressed them totally in black with sunglasses on and stuff, I feel like people would actually think that they could be my bodyguards, because they're just so massive.
Blake Noble honors the music heritage he learned from Australian Aborigines by keeping it pure. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He's a true original. His style, created in his native land, is now being shared all over the States. Now, added to that is the influence of his new home here in the Northwest and the contributions of his two really big sidekicks, Matt and Joel.
We'll be right back with Blake Noble.
Bringing the bass into Blake Noble's band was a challenge. I didn't really know exactly what to do. And a lot of the times I'm just playing roots, trying to hold down a groove and trying to stay in his pocket.
If Matt was my right-hand man, then Joel is definitely my left-hand man. He'll often copy what I'm doing just to beef up the chords that I'm trying to do. I need the guts in the background, and that's Joel.
But if he has any suggestions, I'd gladly take his input because, as you saw, his music is awesome.
How it all got started with Blake and I. He had this one tune, he said, "Oh, I love the bluegrass here, and this is my bluegrass song." So I thought, well, he needs a banjo if he's going to do a bluegrass song. I first got into bluegrass through country music. I was playing a lot of drums, and the Buck Owens and the Hank Williams and whatnot. And then from there to Ralph Stanley and Bill Monroe. The bluegrass gospel has always been what spoke to me.
I was incredibly influenced by a lot of the bluegrass music here in the Pacific Northwest. It's a fun one to play because it's fast-paced, and Matt swaps to the banjo for Pelican, so it's good to change up the instruments a little bit.
I don't know that I've met a much nicer guy, and from his heart. He's just a really nice guy who loves music and wants to share what he's got with you and bring you into his group too.
I'm not always present, and I have to remind myself to be present when I'm performing sometimes. Especially because I'm not singing, so I don't always have that interaction with the audience. So I have to rely on the music to do the connecting for me. It's hard to say where I go when I'm actually performing. Musicland, Dreamland, I don't know. It's somewhere else most of the time. It's like asking, well, where did that song come from? I don't know. I never had a guitar lesson in my life. So many people that I've met out there that come up and say, oh, I wish I could be doing that, what you're doing, and I always say, well, why don't you just do it? No one asked me to come and do this. I created it. That's the only way to get there. Find your passion and then figure out a way to make a career out of that. And if you like it, you'll, like they say, you'll never work a day in your life. Financially, as a musician, it can be really tough, and that's no surprise to anybody. People can judge musicians and creative types on the surface because we're just known as being survivors and travelers. We're storytellers. Perpetual Leader was written about a guy back home. His name was Jared. And eventually I went online and looked up the meaning of the name Jared, and the meaning is Perpetual Leader.
Perpetual Leader is one of my favorite songs, and I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to play it. He can do solo shows, you know. His music doesn't need a whole lot more, but with us, it kind of brings the beef, you know, and I'm all about the beef.
Tsunami is definitely my best known song. I was writing it as a huge storm was approaching. That's not a tsunami obviously, but it made me think about just watching the news these days and seeing all the destruction and everything, and I could just see this huge storm. We get huge storms, summer storms in Australia, and it was just coming for me, and I thought, let's see if I can write this song before the storm hits. It feels great when the audience is with you. It's like back in high school I was a runner, and you know that feeling when you've got the last 100 meters or so and the whole crowd is cheering you on so that you can win, and you're absolutely tired from running miles and miles, and then finally you're on the home stretch and you get this cheer and you find the energy from somewhere. It's that feeling. One of the cool things about being an instrumentalist is people in my crowd feel like that they can cheer at any time throughout the song, and I really like that. It's not just when I do something kind of intricate and they think, oh, that was cool. It's just a spontaneous feeling of whatever the song is trying to get out of you. That often comes forward, and that's my favorite part.
Well, that's it for tonight's Band in Seattle. If you want to hear more, check us out on bandinseattle.com, where you can hear full concerts and find links for more information about our bands and where they're playing next. Sean?
Thanks, Xander. And to stay up with the latest on the band scene, check out my show, The Mixtape, on mynorthwest.com and Cairo Radio.
Thanks for watching. Join us next week for more great music and great stories on Band in Seattle.
So this whale went to a bar. Okay.
A whale?
Two whales.
Two whales.
Yeah. And he's like, and then the other whale says, "Shut up, Frank, you're drunk."